though, I'ma find the emeralds. Don't call me Knuckles for nothing, I can't lose. Sure bees fighting with them foes all the time, but I gotta do it, they always stay out of line. Sometimes I wanna just chill and land, but I'm the protector of the emeralds and gems. Stay knuckled up in a deep cut. I'm seeing skulls that burn, they tryna throw me off. Avoiding my luck, I'm feeling kinda stuck. Don't call me Knuckles, give me a box.
Well, hello there. Hi. Oh man, it's been a while since I've been here. I know I really should do this more often, but life got kind of crazy and I couldn't stream for a while. It was kind of a mess, but I'm glad to be back. Hope everyone's doing okay. Man, I'm thinking, I think my last live was on, before the Game Awards. I did stream, like my voting things and like my predictions and whatnot, but I didn't publish that VOD publicly. I don't know, I wasn't feeling it, so I just kept it private. I've been wanting to do this stream for a while though, since I first beat the game, which was actually close to a month now. Yeah, literally, like January 27th, I believe, is when I finished it, and it's the 25th of this month, so yeah, it's literally been over the month. I've been putting it back, because I've just been, like, preparing for it, prepping the slideshow, and writing my notes. I have a lot of notes for today, like, a lot. Because I had a lot that I wanted to say, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget. Well, I'm sure there's still stuff that I'm going to remember, even after this, which sucks, but just wanted to, yeah, put all my thoughts in one place. It's quite windy today. I think it might be raining outside. I don't know, it's been getting pretty cold where I am. Sometimes it's like it snows here, which is pretty crazy because I've actually never lived where it snowed before. It's like light snow though, at least where I live. It doesn't get too heavy, but certain parts of the area get hit heavier than, or they get hit harder than others. It's fascinating. Was testing my audio for a bit before I went live. Just to make sure that everything was good, because I would have hated to start the stream and look stupid for 3 hours. That drives me up a wall, you have no idea. Thinking everything's good, and then like you get to the end, and then like the audio's not right. Ugh. So it's good that I prepped beforehand to fix the issues that I had. Let me do something actually really quick. I'll turn the music up real quick so you guys can hear it better while I'm doing this. What the heck did I just do? Okay, I'll figure that out later. Hopefully I can still add a stream marker. Music stopped all of a sudden. Okay, I'm gonna get started now. Enough stalling. Let me just pick some music to go in the background as I always do. And we will get into this review. I actually just want to talk about the characters, but I thought I might as well like add a bit of a review in here. I'm not typically a review type of person, so like I'm not like an expert on games necessarily. But again, I thought why not? Depending on how long this is, I may break this up into another part. But I will see about that when I start talking your head off, if I haven't already. One second. Sorry, I'm bad at this. I have not gotten any better. Okay, there we go. Now let me just go ahead and switch the screen. So I'm going to begin my review, and just as a warning, massive spoilers ahead for God of War Ragnarok. Let me turn this off so that it doesn't lag. Oh yeah, massive spoilers for God of War Ragnarok. If you have not beaten the game, or if you haven't gotten a chance to play the game yet, I highly recommend it. But if you haven't finished it, please do not watch don't watch this. Like, I don't want to be responsible for someone's ruined experience. So, again, spoilers. Spoilers. Let me pull up the slideshow. Okay, I just have a little slideshow here, just of like the characters, and you'll know which character I'm talking about when I move the slide. So, I think it makes it easier for VOD watchers. If you want to just skip to a certain character or skip to whatever, then that's fine. I'm gonna leave this image up for the entirety of the review, though. So when I like to do these, I like to break them up into like, you know, the categories and whatnot. So I have gameplay, level design, the performance of the game itself, the graphics, the music, and my final score, my final thoughts, and then for Ragnarok specifically, I have a section dedicated to like some unanswered questions that I would like to know because I'm nosy. Okay, so for the gameplay, good. I'm really bad at this, but I mean, it's great. I mean, it's fun still. They definitely upped the difficulty in this, because I was struggling like in the beginning of the game before you really got like more abilities and whatnot. I was struggling, and you start off with like 2 HP anyway. Like the his health bar is so small at the beginning. Like it's really easy to die, even if you're playing on like normal mode. So I can't even imagine how hard it was for people that were playing on Give Me God of War. Um, Animations are still great as usual. Like I said, it's a fun game. Good combos, a lot of combos. A big one for me is there was definitely a lot more variety in enemies and bosses. Um, I think the reason why the first game, and I could be wrong about this part, but I think they said the reason why the first, and I should say, God of War 2018 had so many reused enemies and reused bosses. If you played the first, I'm gonna say 2018, just for the last game, so I don't have to keep saying the first one because that's technically wrong. If you've played 2018, then you know how many times you had to fight like the same like troll boss with the giant pillar, like the monkey things, um, and all that. But I think the reason why they reused it so much was because of I think budget reasons actually, which I was surprised like to hear. But as you can see, they went all out with the second game, so it was nice to get a bigger variety of enemies. You get to play as Atreus. Like I got spoiled on it before I played it, but I didn't know you were gonna get. I didn't know you were gonna play as him so much. Like I thought he was gonna have like maybe one section and that was it. But no, like it really. I mean, this game really is like telling two stories. You know, it's telling Kratos' story as I mean, as a widowed father who is still kind of learning to be a father, and then Atreus' story of wanting to go his own way, trying to find his identity, and of course the two of them butt heads. Like they did in the last game. I mean, their relationship has like never been an easy thing. There's always been this level of tension um between the two of them, which I mean they got resolved at the end of the last game, but I mean Atreus is growing up. I mean he's a teenager, so it only makes sense that this tension would kind of rear its ugly head again. And also, you get multiple party members, which was like insane. Like the only, well, okay, well the only controlled party members are Atreus, of course, um, Atreus, Brock, Sindri, and Angerboda and Ingrid. Did I say Freya? I don't think I said Freya. But let me let me go in order here. So yeah, you get like a lot of party members. Like I said, other than Atreus, Brock, Sindri, Angerboda, Thrud, and Thor, and then Freya and Ingrid. Thrud and Thor are the only ones out of that list that aren't controllable, but still, to even be able to fight with them is crazy. Like I did not expect that, so that was really really cool to be able to like play with all these different characters, or at least to have them kind of in your party. I apologize if you hear any background noise. I think those are the good things about those. And then also more side quests. You can do them with either Atreus or Freya, and the dialogue is like different for each, like depending on who you go with, which is amazing. And the side quests are also like very cleverly integrated too. Like you'll be having a conversation with someone, and then like it'll prompt a side quest. There's also a lot more of them in this game than in 2018, because there's more characters and it just makes sense. More areas to go to as well. So those are all the good things. And I'll get into some of the drawbacks right now. I think some of the cons is I think there are too many combos to remember. That's just my opinion. I think I'm just too smooth brained to remember so many. So I end up using just the default mashing R1 and R2. A lot of the extra like attacks I triggered on accident. Like when you press, I believe it's L1 and R1, I'll be holding the shield and like go to attack like normally, and then like I'll trigger like a thing and be like, oh whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but it helped. That's just my opinion though. There is kind of a lot more to manage, since you still have I mean, even with Kratos, there's a lot, but because you have his armor, you know, like the chest armor, the wrist, the waist, and you have the Leviathan axe, you have the Chaos blades, and then you get the Draupnir spear, and then having to, you know, pick his skills on the skill tree, and the other attacks, I don't remember what they're called. The runic attacks, there we go. The runic attacks. It's kind of a lot for me personally. And then you also get Freya and Atreus. Thankfully, you don't have to worry about their armor. It's just cosmetic. Like they don't have any stats, but you do have to worry about picking their skills off their skill tree. So I think it's kind of a lot, but I don't think it's too much to like. It's not so bad that it doesn't like take away from the experience. Like if you had to worry about Atreus's and Freya's armor in the same way that Kratos, in the same way that you upgrade Kratos's, then yeah, that would be way too much. But at least they were aware of that and kept it simple. And the only bad thing about the side quest, again, this is all my opinion, is that if you're like me and you decide to do the side quest after you beat the game, you won't be able to do those side quests with Atreus, because as we know, by the end of the story, he leaves. So you miss dialogue with Atreus, and you miss dialogue with Brock and Sindri as well because of what happens to both of them. Now, to you guys, that may not be that important, which I totally understand, but to me that was a little important because I like Atreus a lot, and I actually miss him. I really do miss him. I miss his dialogue with Kratos and Mimir. Like Freya is great and all. She has obviously a much different dynamic to Kratos than Atreus does. But yeah, that's just me. So I'm going to move on to the level design. The levels are more detailed than ever, I feel like. Like with all the... Also, the game just looks beautiful, but I'll get to that later. Just detailed, more open environments, more new environments. You see like little insects and reptiles and stuff, like little lizards, like the little the little like mushroom people that are like alive. it all really helps like add to the world that you're in. It really does make it feel alive, like you said, like it's a real place almost. The puzzles were okay, and I did like the cool new mechanics, like the Twilight Stones and Alfheim. I don't think I got too stuck on one of them. I'm trying to think. Maybe when we were in the Yarns Meeta mines, I may have gotten a little stuck on that part when you're going to find Tyr. But other than that, some cons is sometimes it was a little bit hard to know where to go. I feel like there was a lot of forks in the road. Um, like I want to, like obviously you want to go get treasure and get loot and all that, but then you end up going to like the direction of the story and then you miss it and you have to go back. Sometimes that happens. The compass I think was my biggest gripe about. Well, that's more gameplay than the environment. But still, the compass was one of my biggest gripes about the game. It was helpful, but it wasn't always helpful. And especially if you have like multiple quests at the top, oh man, it's a nightmare to look at. It is a nightmare to look at. It is so confusing. So I try to have as little quests as possible, or take on as little quests as possible, so that I can avoid that. Because man, that was oof. And the puzzle hints were too frequent at times. I think there is a option for that though. I think you can turn those off. Yeah, you can. So that's something that at least you can control, but like those other two you can't really control. Uh, anyway, I'll move on to the performance of the game. I did run into a couple performance issues, which may have been just my PS4, may have just been me. I had to there was like this one part in like the Fae dream sequence where like you like had to get on the boat with her. She was like holding baby Atreus, and like I pressed the button, but like Kratos just like turned around and then like kind of faced the camera, and they both just like stood there, and I was like, what just happened? So I had to quit the game and come back. Thankfully, it picked me up where I left off, so I didn't have to worry about it. But that was a little creepy to me. I don't know. I always find glitches in games so jarring because it takes you out of the moment, Even though you already know you're playing a game, you get so like immersed in the experience that having glitches like that happen, and you're like, oh yeah, it's just a game. I had a couple drops in the frame rate. I think specifically in the part with Atreus and Angerboda and Ironwood. And some parts somewhere else I had a bit of frame rate issues. I'm trying to think. I think that's mostly it though. A couple issues in performance here and there. So next I have the graphics, and honestly no complaints. The game looks beautiful. Like everything in the game looks beautiful. Like the character models are amazing, the environments, the water especially. Like the water is just so like clear looking and pretty, like stunning. I had no graphical glitches. Speaking of performance, no graphical errors, so that was at least good. Okay, and then the next category I have is music. Again, amazing. No complaints at all. Like, the score is absolutely brilliant. Like, it really does enhance, like, the moments of the game. We also got to hear, like, more character themes. So, like, we got to hear, the Holger Brothers themes. It played more in Svartalfheim, so I wasn't sure if it was the theme of the Holger Brothers or if it was the theme of, like, the dwarves in general, but it was the theme of Brock and Sindri. We got Atreus' theme, Odin's theme, Angerboda's, and then, of course, we hear the return of Kratos' theme, Faye, and Freya's. I thought Thor had a theme, but he actually didn't. Because, like, when I paid attention to, like, the song that was playing when you fight him again, or when you fight him twice, it's actually Odin's theme that's playing. It's a variation of Odin's theme, so Thor doesn't even get it. Thor got nothing. I guess it makes sense, though, because he's not, like, a prominent... I mean, he's, like, a major character in the game, but, like, he doesn't have too big of a role. Oh, and Angerboda. Did I say that already? I think I might have. There's also a lot of variations of the characters' themes. This isn't a con, this is just a side note from me. Like, I've played, like, Kingdom Hearts and, like, Final Fantasy, specifically Final Fantasy VII, and I feel like those games like, if you've played those games before, then you know how important character themes are to those series. So I feel like playing those games have kind of, like, taught me to pay attention to themes, and so I was able to pick up on a lot of the variations that played, and also when they play, because that's equally important too. Themes can sometimes be a spoiler, because sometimes, like, if you hear a character's theme and they're not present in the scene, you at least know that they're involved in some way. Like, there was one part I believe it was the part where Kratos, Atreus, and Odin disguised as Tyr go into Groa's shrine. And there's a part in that scene where Odin's theme actually does play for a bit. So I don't know if that was hinting at Tyr being Odin, or if the scene itself was just about Odin being wrong about the prophecy because Groa deceived him. It's just little things like that. And then, like, having Atreus' theme play, like, when Fenrir dies, and having it play when him and Kratos go hunting after Brock's death. Just little things like that that I've learned to sort of keep my eye on. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Now, the most important part is the story. And again, amazing. It's beautiful and emotional and relatable, so impactful. Um, there's a lot of great like dialogue and like character interactions, especially like in between, like when you're traversing through the worlds via boat or on the sled. There's a lot of great dialogue options, and even like there's a lot of like hidden dialogue too. Like if you wait, like if you're, how do I say this? Like if you're supposed to do something but like you don't do it, you just sit there for like a minute or so, there'll be extra dialogue there too, or like the characters kind of commenting. Um, or commenting on your inaction. The cast of 2018 like tripled in size, because the first game was largely about Kratos and Atreus, of course, and their relationship. Like I said, it and how difficult that was for the both of them, trying to like learning how to deal with each other after Faye's passing. Um, of course, we had Brock and Sindri on the side, and Freya, and kind of Faye in the background as well, like being the motivation and being kind of the guiding hand for this journey. But yeah, the first 2018 was mostly about the two of them. But in Ragnarok, this cast, like I said, triples in size, and this story it goes so much more just beyond the two of them. I've said this before, but the switching of you switch between Kratos and Atreus at points. The transition between those scenes were amazing, by the way, and it really is kind of telling two stories here. Like I said earlier, it's Kratos kind of, his story of a father and him trying to be a good dad to Atreus, trying to, do what's best for him, and then Atreus, being a teenager that he is, having sort of an identity crisis and just figuring himself out, wanting to know who he is and learning about the heritage and the history of the giants. And the fact that the two of them bump heads so many times, they disagree so many times. Atreus, as expected, keeps secrets and hides things from Kratos. And I say as expected because, literally both of his parents withheld the truth from him. So it makes sense that he would do the same to them. Albeit Faye and Kratos had their own reasons, it wasn't malicious. It was out of Kratos was trying to protect. It was part. Okay, part of it I think was shame. He was so deeply ashamed of what he had done, and what his actions brought upon his home. And he was also terrified at what being a god would mean to Atreus and how that would affect him in his life. And I think both of those things made him hold that information back. Sorry, tap my mic on accident. Did the music stop? No, but let me turn it up a little bit. And then fuck, I forgot where it left off. Damn it. I think you get my point, though. Oh, let me go back to the dock. Damn, I forgot what. Okay, whatever. You get my point. Just yeah. And we meet Angerboda, and Gryla, unfortunately. We meet two of the seemingly last giants aside from Atreus and Thor. You meet the Aesir gods more intimately. You finally meet Odin. Well, you meet him at the beginning of the game. We meet Odin. You see, Thor, Sif, Thrud, Heimdall, the whole Aesir family, and we see all the dysfunction that goes on over there. Ratatoskr, Skilder, Tyr, technically. Even though Tyr is Odin, the real Tyr is actually in the game. If you weren't aware, after you beat the game, you go to Niflheim, and there's like a series of there's like a prison, basically, and you go deeper inside, and at the bottom, or in the bottom level, Tyr is there. So he was actually in the game the whole time, just Odin was masquerading as him. There's also a lot of callbacks, both within the game itself and callbacks to 2018. Oh, I forgot, we also see Freyr and Hildisvini and Freyr's camp. I forgot about them. But yeah, a lot more characters. What I mean by callbacks is they,